Good evening, I'm Jim Freeman. Colleges across the state have seen an increase in enrollment this fall, bouncing back from pandemic lows. But the recent flooding in eastern Kentucky is forcing some schools to put the comeback on hold. WYMT's Keaton Hall has more.
Enrollment at the University of Pikeville is soaring.
Our undergraduate enrollment was up 40% and record levels for our graduate students and professional students. And our total enrollment is an all-time record.
And enrollment for the fall is up around the state. The Kentucky Community and Technical College system saw a 3.5% increase in admissions over last year. Part of the bump, recovery from COVID lows.
Then you have high schools that were closed. They weren't allowing college representatives to come in, talk to the students. And, you know, if high school students is not likely to get on a Zoom and talk to a college representatives.
But some eastern Kentucky counties are actually seeing enrollment decrease this fall after the floods forced many people to shift their priorities. Hazard Community and Technical College President Dr. Jennifer Linden said, quote, college students in some of the hardest hit counties are still struggling with basic needs, and many have had to delay enrollment or withdraw from classes this fall.
We had 5 students who lost everything who attended the University of Pikeville, and we had a donor or two gave us some money to buy supplies for those students. We had faculty and staff who pulled some resources as well to make sure those students were taken care of. And I talked to those students just the other day, and they're doing very well.
For many students in the area, a return to school is a return to much needed normalcy. In Perry County, Keaton Hall, WYMT Mountain News.
Thank you, Keaton. Dr. Linden says their staff has been working to help students with any needs they may have following the flood.
Well, gorgeous weather continues out there this afternoon. Plenty of it as we head into our evening hours all around the region. A look right now from London. They sit at 79 there at London Corbin Airport. Same thing in Hazard out the front door, WYMT, and mid-70s in Pikeville from our Pikeville Medical Center camera. Either way, the dew points are near 60, so yeah, not too bad out there. Temperatures around the region still hovering near 80 as we've crossed the bottom of the 5 o'clock hour, and we'll continue to see dew points stay right where they are, if not rise just a little bit overnight into the upper 50s. They're already there, and into the lower 60s. Satellite and radar, not much to talk about as we went through today. We are very much, my phrasing, clean and clear, a clean sweep on the radar. Nothing we have to worry about in terms of anything, in terms of rainfall, let alone, or cloud covers, let alone rainfall. First Alert weather app, keep it handy though. You will, well, you'll have access to it because you may not need it with temperatures down into the lower 60s, but it's nice to have around regardless, especially when you get those app updates from us down into the 50s as we head into the overnight. Details coming up on when we could see a return to some summer-like heat coming up in just a few minutes. Jim?
Thanks, Evan. Still liking the sound of that forecast. Well, today the Biden administration is touting a tentative deal that will keep America's trains moving and stave off what could have been another big blow to the economy. It's the result of 20 hours of negotiations between railway companies and unions at the Labor Department, which lasted into the early morning hours today. President Biden even called at one point to push for an agreement. Skylar Henry has more from the White House.
Railway companies. This agreement is a big win for America.
President Joe Biden celebrated the tentative deal that hit the brakes on a looming rail strike.
Together we reached an agreement, you reached an agreement that will keep our critical rail system working and avoid disruptions of our economy.
The standoff stemmed from a dispute over sick leave and attendance policies.
Our guys are over-the-road engineers, the bulk of them. They're on call, they're not home enough. It's a tough family life, and we tried to get them some more time off.
The new agreement grants members an extra paid day off and time away from work for things like routine medical care and hospitalizations. It also contains a 24% wage increase, bonuses, and health care cost caps.
Each party got some of the things they needed, and it will make for a more productive workplace when we get them all implemented.
Again, the deal touted here Thursday is tentative. Union leaders say in the coming weeks their members will review the agreement and then vote to finalize it.
The union leadership will take these contracts to their membership, will explain it to their membership, and they have a democratic process where the members will get a chance to support or deny these agreements. I think they'll support them.
Industry experts had warned a rail strike could have cost the U.S. economy about $2 billion a day in lost productivity and severely strained the existing supply chain issues. following the shipping and trucking backups earlier this year. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Now, ahead of a tentative deal agreement, Amtrak has announced it was canceling long-distance rail service. An Amtrak spokesperson now says they're working to quickly restore those trains. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is claiming credit for sending 2 planes of migrants to Massachusetts today. The congressman who represents Martha's Vineyard says about 50 people arrived there. In a statement, DeSantis' office blames so-called sanctuary states for migrants crossing the border. Governor Greg Abbott of Texas has sent migrants to Washington, New York, and Chicago. In Arizona, Governor Doug Ducey began sending them to D.C. earlier this year. Massachusetts State Representative Dylan Fernandez, who represents Martha's Vineyard, tweeted, "Our island jumped into action, putting together 50 beds, giving everyone a good meal, providing a play area for the children, making sure people have the health care and support they need. And we're a community that comes together to support immigrants." While politicians are talking about how and why the migrants landed at Martha's Vineyard, locals are talking about the impact the arrival is having on the community.
Martha's Vineyard Community Services had 50 people sort of literally walk up to their front door. From what we found out by talking to the people, they're originally from Venezuela. They were flown here. We're not sure what plane brought them here or how they got on a plane to here. They did tell us they came from Texas, and they walked from the airport to Martha's Vineyard Community Services. Martha's Vineyard is a really small community. Our year-round population is about 20,000.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams says his community will not be like the municipalities and states that are flying people to Martha's Vineyard. Today, he and other officials announced the opening of New York City's first asylum seeker resource navigation center. The center, operated by Catholic Charities of New York through a city contract, will support individuals and families who have arrived in New York City on or after January 1st, 2022.
We're not going to be like those municipalities and states where we fly people to Martha's Vineyard, where we put people on buses and have them fail to get the basic items they need. This is a crisis. And during crises, there are 2 types of New Yorkers. There are those who play I got you and stay on the outside and complain. And then there are those who roll up their sleeves and just get stuff done. That's who we are.
The center will serve as a central place where newly arrived asylum seekers will receive free and confidential help accessing a variety of important services and resources that will help them integrate and thrive in New York City. The center, located in the American Red Cross of Greater New York headquarters, will open weekdays to provide individuals and families with in-person support in Spanish and in other languages, as well as information on resources and services available. We're learning new details about the relationship between an Alabama inmate and the prison guard who helped him escape in April. The Lauderdale County Sheriff said the 2 spoke on the phone more than 900 times in the months before their getaway, including sexually explicit calls. The calls all came before Vicky White helped Casey White, who were not related, escape from a detention center, leading to an 11-day manhunt. It came to a deadly end for the prison guard in Indiana. She died of a single gunshot to the head in what was ruled as a suicide. The escapee was arrested and returned to the same correctional facility in Alabama. He is charged with escape in the first degree for the jailbreak. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30. Thinking about getting into real estate but don't know where to start? We have some expert advice to get you into the housing game.
Plus, warmer air continues to push into the region as our pattern continues to change into next week. Breakdown on the way.